What if I told you that the woman sitting across from you right now, the one you trust with your heart, your plans, and your future, has said at least 3 things today that were not entirely true? Not because she's evil. Not because she doesn't love you. But because her mind was literally wired to do it. Welcome back to Hidden Side of Her, the channel where we pull back the curtain on female psychology, not to villainize women, but to arm you with the understanding that changes how you move, how you respond, and how you lead in every relationship in your life. Today, we are going deep. We're talking about 10 lies women tell men every single day. And before anyone gets defensive in the comments, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will see this differently. A stoic man doesn't react. He understands. Let's build that understanding. Here's what nobody tells you: women don't lie the way movies portray it. It's rarely dramatic. It's rarely malicious. Most of the time, a woman's deception is quiet. It's a soft redirection, a smoothed-over truth, a feeling she can't explain but acts on anyway. And if you don't understand the psychology behind it, you will spend years confused, frustrated, and emotionally reactive. Stoicism teaches us one foundational truth. You cannot control what others do, only how you perceive and respond. So today, we're not building anger. We're building clarity. Because a man who understands what's really being communicated, underneath the words, is a man who can never be manipulated. He can only be respected. I've spent years studying female psychology, relationship dynamics, and behavioral science, and what I'm about to share with you is rooted in real research, real patterns, and real life. So grab something to drink, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Real quick, if you're new here and this kind of deep, honest, no fluff content is what you've been looking for, hit that subscribe button right now. We drop new psychology breakdowns every day, and you don't want to miss what's coming. Okay, back to it. You ask her what's wrong. She says, "I'm fine." You take her at her word, move on, and 20 minutes later the whole evening has collapsed. You're confused. You feel ambushed. And you start wondering, why can't she just say what she means? Lie number 1, I'm fine. I'm fine is almost never about the facts, it's a test of attunement. Evolutionary psychology tells us that women develop sophisticated verbal packaging as a social survival mechanism. Directly expressing distress was historically risky in social hierarchies. So instead, "I'm fine" is a coded invitation: notice me deeply enough to know I'm not. Dr. Deborah Tannen's research on gender communication confirms this. Women use rapport talk, building connection through subtext. Men use report talk, prioritizing accuracy. Neither is wrong. But when they collide, chaos happens. The stoic man does not get frustrated. He gets curious. When she says "I'm fine," pause, make eye contact and say calmly, "I can see something's on your mind. I'm here when you're ready." Then, and this is critical, go back to what you were doing. Don't beg. Don't chase. Hold your frame. That unshakable steadiness is what actually invites her to open up. Lie 2, I don't care where we eat. She says she doesn't care where you eat. You pick a place. Suddenly she's not really feeling that. You pick another. Same thing. You're now 40 minutes into a decision spiral and dinner hasn't started. This is maddening when you don't understand what's really happening. When a woman says "I don't care," she's often doing 2 things simultaneously. She genuinely wants you to take the lead, because decisiveness is attractive, and she has a semi-formed preference she hasn't fully articulated even to herself. Women are deeply connected to their emotional state, and food preferences can be mood-dependent in a way that feels impossible to pre-articulate. There's also the people-pleasing dynamic. Many women are conditioned to avoid seeming too demanding. Saying "I don't care" is often an act of social generosity that she genuinely means in spirit, even when her body disagrees in practice. Stop asking open-ended questions. Instead, give her 2 strong options: "I'm thinking Italian" or "that new Thai place," which mood are you in? This respects her autonomy, gives her something concrete to respond to emotionally, and positions you as decisive, which is exactly the energy she was hoping to follow in the first place. Lie 3, I'm not mad. She is clearly mad. Her tone is clipped. She's responding in single syllables. There's a coldness in the room you could cut with a knife. And yet, I'm not mad. At this point, you either argue about whether she's mad, or you accept a lie and pretend everything is fine. Both options feel wrong. Because they are. This lie is rooted in emotional processing time, and a fear of vulnerability. For many women, admitting anger in real time feels like a loss of composure. Especially if they haven't fully understood the anger themselves yet. Women are neurologically wired with stronger connections between the limbic, emotional, system and the prefrontal cortex, meaning emotions hit fast and hard, but the ability to articulate them cleanly can lag behind. I'm not mad is also sometimes a way of saying, I want you to figure out why I should be without me having to explain it. It's a relational test, again, of attunement. Lie 4, I have nothing to wear. The closet is literally full. You can see it. She has options, dozens of them. And yet she stands there, genuinely frustrated, insisting there's nothing to wear. From the outside, this looks irrational. It looks like an excuse. But it's neither. I have nothing to wear translates to I have nothing that feels right for who I want to be tonight. Clothing for women is deeply tied to identity expression and social signaling. Research in enclothed cognition shows that what people wear directly impacts how they feel and perform socially. For women, with higher societal judgment on appearance, this pressure is amplified tenfold. She's also not talking about clothes, she may be communicating anxiety about the event, a need for reassurance, or uncertainty about how she wants to present herself in a particular social context. Don't point at the closet. Don't say, but you have so many options. Ask. What kind of vibe do you want to go for tonight? You've just helped her access the actual problem, the emotional identity question, instead of arguing about the inventory. That's emotional intelligence meeting stoic efficiency. Lie 5, I'm almost ready. She says 5 more minutes and you know from experience that 5 minutes is not 5 minutes. It's a unit of time that has no fixed value in this context. You sit there checking your watch, you calculate how late you'll be, and you feel that slow burn of frustration building. Studies in gender and time perception show that women consistently underestimate preparation time, because they're in a flow state during grooming rituals, each step naturally leads to another. It's not deception, it's a genuine miscalculation made under social pressure. The closer she gets to ready, the more details she notices that need addressing. There's also approval-seeking behavior at play. She wants to look perfect, partly for you, partly for herself. The time it takes is an investment in the experience she wants to create. Build buffer time into your plans without announcement. If the reservation is at 7, tell her it's 6:30. And when she's getting ready, give her a genuine compliment on something specific. You look beautiful already, which actually helps her feel secure enough to stop fine-tuning. Anxiety about approval drives the delay. Resolve the anxiety, solve the delay. If this video is already changing how you think about the women in your life, I want you to do one thing: drop a comment below with the lie you've personally experienced the most. Is it I'm fine? I don't care. Let me know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, this is your sign. Every week on this channel, we go deep into female psychology, and I promise you, the next video will hit even harder than this one. Lie 6, I don't want anything for my birthday. She explicitly says no gifts. She says don't make a fuss. So you take her at her word, and then you watch her face fall when the day comes and nothing special has been done. You feel set up. And in a way, you were. This lie is rooted in a deep psychological tension between social modesty norms and personal desire. Women are socialized to not appear needy or demanding. But wanting to feel celebrated is a fundamental human need, not a character flaw. When she says don't bother, what she's really communicating is, I want you to know me well enough to know that I do want something, and to figure out what that is without me having to ask. A stoic man doesn't take the easy exit. He pays attention throughout the year. She mentions a restaurant, a book, a trip, a feeling she wants to have. He files it away. When her birthday comes, the gesture reflects knowledge of her, and that is always more powerful than the gift itself. Presence of mind is the best present. Lie 7, I'm not jealous. You mentioned a female coworker. Nothing significant, just a name in a story. And suddenly there's a shift in the energy. She's asking questions that feel casual but aren't. Then when you ask if something's wrong, she says I'm not jealous. But something changed and you both know it. Jealousy in women is often tied to attachment style and perceived threat to relational security. Evolutionarily, women face catastrophic consequences from mate abandonment, so threat detection systems are sensitive and fast. But admitting jealousy can feel like admitting insecurity, which feels like weakness in a culture that tells women to be the cool girl. So the emotion gets masked. Don't make her feel foolish for feeling it. Instead, create security without being dismissive. I understand, and you don't need to compete with anyone for my attention. Then follow it with a concrete action that backs the words. Words reassure. Actions rebuild the security system she's questioning. Lie 8, I'm not looking for anything serious. She says she's just having fun. No labels. No pressure. You take it at face value, stay casual, and then 3 months later she's upset because you're not committed enough. You feel ambushed again. But here's what actually happened. This is often said as a protective shield. To avoid appearing too eager early in dating, which society stigmatizes in women. It's also sometimes genuinely true in the moment, but women's relational needs tend to evolve as emotional bonding deepens. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, releases more strongly in women through sustained positive interaction, meaning feelings can grow faster than she anticipated. Be clear about your own intentions from the start, regardless of what she says. The stoic man doesn't mold himself to her stated preferences to gain access. He knows who he is and what he wants, and he communicates it cleanly. That clarity is attractive and prevents the confusion spiral entirely. Lie 9, I don't care what other people think. She says she doesn't care what people think. She presents herself as free-spirited, unbothered by social judgment. And then you watch her reshape her behavior the second her friends have an opinion. You wonder which version of her is real. Social belonging was a survival imperative for women across human history. Exclusion from the group was genuinely life-threatening. The neural networks that register social rejection overlap with those that register physical pain. I don't care what people think is aspirational. It's the woman she wants to be, fighting against deeply hardwired social monitoring software. Don't call her a hypocrite when the behavior contradicts the statement. Understand she's caught between who she wants to be and what she's wired to feel. The stoic man creates an environment where she feels safe enough to choose her values over her anxiety, because his steadiness makes social approval feel less urgent. Lie 10, I'm over it. You had a fight. You resolved it. Or at least, you thought you did. She said she was over it. But weeks later, the same argument rises from the grave, fully dressed in new clothes, with all the original wounds intact. And you realize, she was never over it. Women process emotions relationally and contextually. Research in emotional memory shows that women tend to have more vivid and detailed emotional memories than men. The pain of an unresolved conflict doesn't just fade, it gets filed. I'm over it often means I'm exhausted from this conversation right now, not that the emotional wound has been healed. For resolution to be real, she needs to feel genuinely heard, not just agreed with. If the conversation ended with compliance but not understanding, the file stays open. Before accepting I'm over it, take one more step. I want to make sure we're actually good. can you tell me what you need from me going forward? That question separates a managed ceasefire from genuine resolution. The Stoic man doesn't just want the argument to stop. He wants the issue to be closed. So what do all 10 of these lies have in common? Every single one of them is a form of indirect communication driven by one of three forces: social conditioning that taught her that directness is dangerous, emotional processing that is still catching up to real-time events, or relational testing to see how attuned you are. None of this excuses poor communication, and in healthy relationships, these patterns should be gently and consistently called to higher clarity. But the man who reacts to these moments with frustration, anger, or withdrawal is the man who stays confused. The man who approaches them with curiosity, steadiness, and emotional intelligence, that man becomes someone she cannot help but respect. Stoicism applied to relationships doesn't mean being cold. It means being unshakable. It means your emotional state isn't at the mercy of her momentary confusion or defensiveness. You see clearly. You respond deliberately. You build trust through consistency, not through winning arguments. The three pillars of the Stoic partner: 1. Understand the psychology beneath the words. 2. Respond to the real need, not the surface statement. 3. Lead with emotional security, not emotional reactivity. Master these three things, and you will never be manipulated, because you'll always be one step ahead in understanding. We've broken down 10 lies women tell men every single day, and more importantly, we've decoded the psychological truth hiding underneath each one. This isn't about being suspicious of women. It's about being literate in how human beings, especially women, actually communicate. The world doesn't need more suspicious men. It needs more understanding men. Men who can hold their frame, lead with clarity, and love without losing themselves. That's who we build here at Hidden Side of Her. Now, here's your assignment. In the comments below, tell me, which of these 10 hits closest to home for you? And if you've made it this far, I know this content is for you. Subscribe to Hidden Side of Her, turn on your notifications, because next week we're going even deeper. We're breaking down the 7 silent tests women run on men in the first 90 days of dating, and you will want to know what those are before they cost you. I'll see you in the next one. Stay stoic. Stay sharp. And stay ahead.